You guys been in this stuff for a little while now. What's your guys' take on all the bullshit that's happened recently?
You're gonna have to watch the video because we just went over all that
You went
shit.
through all of that stuff.
Pretty much.
Come on. So what's your guys' top picks then? What the hell you think's gonna happen now?
You know,
Well,
like as far as coins go,
Anything.
well, there's so much.
I got some money burning a hole in my pocket, and I'm fixing
Yeah.
to do gambling.
Bet they're all.
Yeah, no, I think that just what I think, just anything can happen. You know what I mean? But I think there's a big rug pull from these I think that these investors know that these trading places that you can do leverage trading, doing margin calls, that they were over leveraged, they were over long, they were like 60 something percent to the long. They knew that. They did a rug pull, and when they did that, they crashed the market, but they just crashed it just enough where everybody would get liquidated. And I think that they knew that because they didn't want it to go below the 200-day moving average. Had it gone below the 200-day moving average, it would have crashed for a good long time. We'd be 2-3 years out before. If it does go below the 200-day moving average, which is like, what did I say? What the hell was that?
It's 30, wasn't it 34? But you said it would probably go down to like
somewhere
20.
around 32, 34, I think is where the 200-day moving average. And when I say 200-day moving average, I know you don't know a whole lot of, but that's the average price of Bitcoin over a period of 200 days. And that's like the most common line in the sand that most traders use to decide whether it's a bull market or if it's a bear market. Okay. And if they go below that, most of the educated investors would be like, yeah, it's not safe, so we're going to step out, let things fall where they may, and then they'll, then the whole new cycle happens again. But I think if it falls below the 200-day moving average, it could correct all the way to $20,000. It's a possibility. I'm not saying it's gonna, but it's a possibility.
Right? Didn't it peak at what, 64,000 in April or something?
Yeah. Well, and I was telling Jim this earlier too. So think about like having a tenth of a Bitcoin, right? Like when it's at $64,000, you'd have to spend $6,400 to get 1/10 of a Bitcoin. If it goes down to $20,000, you're gonna be able to get a tenth of a Bitcoin for $2,000. So for a guy like you that's a new investor, and I know $2,000 is a lot, but in my opinion, in the long run, people that have a tenth of a Bitcoin are going to be better off than most. You know what I mean? Because people are still just barely getting into this. So I would, if it does move to 20 grand, I'd be, selling some beats or something.
All right, Kearney, this is what I'm talking about here.
What are you talking about now?
We'll go over it again a little bit because he was late to the party.
Yeah,
I don't do this shit for anybody, but here we are. 200-day moving average is somewhere right about here, right about October, November, December. It's right about here. Right?
He's so technical.
He is. It's hard to tell he's from Frenchville.
Right.
Now you see how that 200-day moving acts as resistance. When it pops up above it, it acts as support. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Well, this right here is overheated market. Obviously, we see
retail investors.
Yeah, so they crashed it, and that wick down here, and I believe that these wicks went to come that far down, but like I went over with Mark, there was pretty much every exchange froze. You can either speculate on some dirty stuff going on behind the scenes, or you could think that there was too much volume on the exchanges and they couldn't handle it. Because I know I was sitting on the sidelines with a shit ton of stable coins trying to buy like 31,000, and I couldn't do it and couldn't do it and couldn't do it and couldn't do it. And then I finally got in at like 36.4, I think is what I was able to get it at. So it's not as if there weren't buyers. There was a shit ton of selling pressure, and I think it got over exaggerated because the markets were so froze up that the buyers couldn't buy, or unless they didn't want us to. They didn't want retail in there. That could have happened. Anyway, they crashed it down here, but oddly enough, it did not go below the 200-day moving average, because I think they know if they had broke that line that, you know, you're looking for a much larger correction. And if it does correct to that, I believe that we're looking right about here as your next line of support, because there's a lot of stuff, like I explained to Mark before, you know what I mean? From here to here, that was all bull. You had a lot of accumulation here. Okay. So that's what I believe. But I don't think that's going to happen.
You think it's going to bounce back slowly over a couple months?
I think this is going to happen. We're going to, if it doesn't break through that, I think we're going to capitulate through here for a while, and then probably months, you know what I mean? We might be bopping around until August, September, maybe. Well, that's there's a lot of that I can't do. It's too much speculating on that, but I think around July, August, and then off to the races again. And I believe that the peak of our bull market's going between September and October. Okay. So worst case scenario, we fall through here, we drop to 20 grand. I'll talk to you guys in about 3 years. If it goes the other way and we hold that line like the old Spartans, you know, and I think we'll be looking good here in September, October.
I can tell you, if it goes down to that 20,000 mark, like,
yeah,
I'm going to be selling some stuff just to try to get like
trying to accumulate some Bitcoin.
What's that?
Yeah.
Baby, we don't need this no more.
Well, no, you know what? No, I'm not. Honestly, like, I'm not even talking. I'm talking about like physical stuff that I have. Like, I've got some little walk behind tractors. I've got like all kinds of, you know, farm stuff for here, and it's like that'll go.
Yeah.
Right? You know,
Sparky's gonna be flipping tricks here on the corner.
Yeah, well, you know, so here's the thing. I had a side gig with somebody last summer. Started last spring, went all the way through the fall, and I was making a couple $100 a week, right? And it was easy money too. I was just talking to people on Facebook, selling stuff for them, and I was buying other things with that money, and it's other things that I enjoy for hobbies. So, and I bought a lot of them. But if I had taken all of that money and put it into crypto all summer long, and then with the improvements that happened, even with the raise in price of those things that I enjoy for my hobbies, I could have bought them all and still had a bunch of money left over.
You're gonna understand how you don't, if you're laddering your way in and you ladder your way out, when everybody's like, holy shit, euphoria, we're all getting rich, this is great. Dogecoin to the moon, maybe. You know what I mean? When that's going on, you should be make yourself a plan and stick to that plan. Okay, say a Bitcoin hits 40,000, I'm going to take 10%, and I'm just going to set it in stable coins, and then it goes to 45,000. Well, you still have 90% of your money in there. If it goes back down to 30,000, you got 10% sitting on the side that you can put back in. It's this game of like having 2 cups of glass, you know what I mean? And you're constantly pouring into, you know, you want the fastest horse. Just because Bitcoin's correcting or going down doesn't mean that you can't make money. If you learn how to do it, it's pretty easy. Like I was just telling Mark a little while ago, it's like a digital game of chicken, and I love it. Bring it on. You know what I mean? Bring on all the bad news and crash the market and whatever. When everybody's freaking out and selling their shit, I'm gonna be buying. And when everybody's buying, I'm gonna be selling. It's really simple. It's easy. This is the easiest way to make money in this day and age.
The thing is, like, you have to overcome that freak out, because like you can look on the
anxiety. Yeah.
You flip open the phone, right? And you go, oh, I have $10,000, right? And then all of a sudden it's, wait, I have $2,000. And it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
what, you know, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Like,
This right here,
big deal.
this is all emotion. This has nothing to do with the.
Fact.
I mean, from when was this? March right here to here. Let's say March 21st to here. Nothing's fundamentally changed about Bitcoin at all. Nothing's changed. You had some fucking billionaire that's talking shit about it, and you have like a bad somebody, well, change the narrative and Bitcoin stopped being cool, and it's ruining all this energy, and you know what I mean? It's consuming. That's all it is. It's just speculative, people changing the narrative, and retail runs for the hills, scared, and big time investors know that. They know that. They know it when, like I said, with all them altcoins is 98% retail investors. There's no big investment firms investing in Mooncoin or all this other nonsense. They're not.